Next question. Start writing. They have given us that the equilibrium was established in a vessel and the volume of the vessel is 4 liters. Temperature of reaction is 300 Kelvin. Ten grams of calcium carbonate were taken initially. So while starting the reaction, we had 10 grams of CaCO3. At equilibrium, 6 grams of calcium carbonate were left. So these are the different pieces of information given to us. And they have asked us to find out Kp. That is the first part of the question. And then there's a second part. That is, if volume is doubled, then find partial pressure and moles of CO2 at new equilibrium. So we can start like this. Initially 10 grams were present, so I've converted 10 grams to moles. 100 is the molar mass of CaCO3. If I divide 10 by 100, I'll get the initial moles of CaCO3. And at equilibrium, I can say that X moles of CaCO3 have reacted. Since X moles of CaCO3 have reacted, I can say X moles of CaO will be formed and X moles of CO2 will be formed. So 10 grams of CaCO3 was started with, and at equilibrium, 6 grams of CaCO3 were left. Find Kp, that is the first part. Now, 6 grams of CaCO3 are left behind. This means that I have this as left behind. So 10 upon 100 minus X, this entire quantity is what you have at equilibrium. Because X moles of CaCO3 have reacted. Since X moles have reacted, I'm left with 10 upon 100 minus X moles. So at equilibrium, they have mentioned that 6 grams are present. If 6 grams are present, I can convert 6 grams to moles again. And I can say that this 6 upon 100 is the moles of CaCO3 left at equilibrium. So 100 is the molar mass of CaCO3. Grams upon molar mass will be moles. So 6 upon 100 is the number of moles of CaCO3 left at equilibrium, which is also same as 10 upon 100 minus X. From here, I can calculate the value of X. That means 0.04 moles have reacted. Now, we want to find out the partial pressure so that we can get the value of Kp at the end. Partial pressure of CO2 at equilibrium is what? CO2 is present on the product side of the reaction. So X moles of CO2 are formed. By using ideal gas equation, I can calculate the value of partial pressure of CO2 gas. So PV is equal to nRT for CO2. Using that, I can get this 0.246 atm. So partial pressure of CO2 at equilibrium will be 0.246 atm. That is nRT upon V. Now for Kp, we need the partial pressure of CO2. So Kp will be equal to this, because solids are ignored. CaCO3 is a solid, CaO is a solid. Simply ignore them. So Kp will be equal to partial pressure of CO2 to the power of stoichiometric coefficient of CO2, which is 1. So I can say that Kp is equal to partial pressure of CO2 to the power of 1, which is 0.246 to the power of 1, that is 0.246. So Kp is 0.246 atm. This is the first part. Second part. This is the second part of the question. If volume is doubled, then find partial pressure and moles of CO2 at new equilibrium. So now the volume of the vessel is doubled. So what is the initial volume of the vessel? 4 liters. So the new volume will be 8 liters. So if volume is doubled, then find partial pressure and moles of CO2 at equilibrium.
सर मोल्स पे थोड़ी ना इफेक्ट पड़ेगा.
नहीं इफेक्ट पड़ेगा ना, अगर रिएक्शन का रेट चेंज हो रहा है फॉरवर्ड या बैकवर्ड का, उससे फर्क पड़ेगा ना. दैट वी विल डू इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर कि एग्जैक्टली क्या कैसे फर्क पड़ेगा. फिलहाल कैलकुलेशंस देख लेते हैं. Okay, now if volume is doubled, you know that Kp and Kc do not change because Kp and Kc depend only on temperature. We have done this. And if volume is doubled, nothing is going to happen to Kp or Kc. They are equilibrium constants. They depend only on temperature. So that is the first thing. वॉल्यूम डबल करो, वॉल्यूम हाफ करो, प्रेशर डबल करो, प्रेशर हाफ करो, कुछ भी करो, केपी और केसी पे फर्क नहीं आता है, because they depend only on temperature. So Kp is going to remain fixed. Kp is going to remain fixed. Also, we know Kp is equal to Kc into RT to the power of delta Ng. Delta Ng can be calculated from the reaction, that is 1. So 1 is the coefficient of product, that is CO2, which is a gas. So 1 is the value of delta Ng, because you will ignore all solids. R is 0.082 liter atmosphere per mole Kelvin because I'm taking pressure in ATM and volume in liters. So R has to be 0.082. Temperature is given in the question, it is 300 Kelvin. I can use those values and get the value of Kc. So this is the value of Kc. Now for this reaction, if I want to write down the expression for Kc, this is going to be the expression for Kc, that is concentration of CO2 to the power of 1, because 1 is the coefficient of CO2. Concentration is moles upon volume. Volume is now 8 liters because they have mentioned that the volume has been doubled. I can put the volume as 8 liters. Kc has been found out. From here, I'll get the value of moles of CO2. So when the volume was changed, we applied again the same value of Kc because Kc does not change. So Kc is 0.01 initially also and after changing the volume also, because Kc does not change with volume or pressure or concentration. Kc changes only if temperature is changed. So this is the number of moles of CO2 at equilibrium when the volume of the vessel is 8 liters.
सर डायरेक्टली 2 kps के एक्सप्रेशन भी
हाँ सेम थिंग, बट हमको मोल्स चाहिए था ना, इसके लिए आई डिड दैट थिंग। पार्शियल प्रेशर से कर सकते हो फिर, तो अगेन आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन यूज करना पड़ेगा मोल्स निकालने के लिए।
हाँ सर केसी नहीं निकालना पड़ेगा।
हाँ so final answer is 0.08 moles of CO2 at equilibrium. So this was the starting reaction. Next question. At equilibrium, there are 2 moles of PCl5, 1 mole of PCl3 and 1 mole of Cl2. So clearly they have mentioned how many moles are present at equilibrium. It is given that volume of the vessel is 1 liter. And if 3 moles of chlorine are introduced inside the vessel, then what will be the new concentration of PCl3? So first of all, it is mentioned that at equilibrium, there are 2 moles of PCl5, 1 mole of PCl3, and 1 mole of Cl2. So already we know that at equilibrium, this is the scenario. Now, you are disturbing the equilibrium. That is, you are adding some moles of chlorine. How many moles? 3 moles. So after you add 3 moles of chlorine, what will happen? That's what they're asking. Volume of the vessel is 1 liter, mentioned in the question, and the reaction is given to you. Okay, so at equilibrium, there are 2 moles of PCl5, 1 mole of PCl3, and 1 mole of chlorine. That is the first thing. So already we know that initially the reaction is in equilibrium. So they have mentioned clearly in the question that at equilibrium, these many moles are present. So information is directly given about this. That is equilibrium. Because the question has mentioned that at equilibrium, so many things are there. These many moles are present. So I can directly write T equal to TQ. So at equilibrium, I have 2 moles of PCl5, 1 mole of PCl3, and 1 mole of Cl2, as mentioned in the question. See, it is mentioned. 2 moles of PCl5, 1 mole of PCl3, and 1 mole of chlorine are present at equilibrium. Since already I know about moles at equilibrium, I can find out the value of Kc. Why am I finding out the value of Kc? Because the question has mentioned that moles of each component at equilibrium are these many. So the number of moles of each component at equilibrium is mentioned. If I know the number of moles of every component at equilibrium, then I should first calculate Kc. So let's put the values. Then Kc will be this. PCl3 is 1 mole, 1 upon 1. Why 1 upon 1? Because I have to divide the number of moles by the volume of the vessel to get the concentration of the species. Volume of the vessel is 1 liter. So I divide by 1. And so I get Kc equal to 1 by 2. Okay, now the question has said, if 3 moles of Cl2 are introduced inside the vessel, what will be the new concentration of PCl3? So we are adding 3 moles of chlorine now. So if I add 3 moles of chlorine, then the new concentration of chlorine will be this, because already 1 mole was present. 1 plus 3, 4 moles, and the vessel is of 1 liter. So the new concentration of Cl2 will be 4 upon 1 moles per liter. But the concentrations of other species will not change. So the concentration of PCl3 will be 1 upon 1, and the concentration of PCl5 will still be 2 upon 1. So when 3 moles of Cl2 have been added, these are the concentrations of the species. Now what should I do? How should I proceed? I need to know whether the reaction is happening in the forward direction or backward direction, because now I've added some moles of chlorine, so I don't know what will happen. So how do I find out that?
We can find QC of.
Exactly. You have to find out QC and compare QC with KC. Uh, whenever we are encountering such a situation where we know the concentrations of all the species, then we must find out QC. Because we need to know whether the reaction is happening in the net forward direction or in the net backward direction. Whenever you are disturbing an equilibrium, find out QC. Disturbing the equilibrium means I'm adding some moles of some substance. So now I can get the value of QC. With the help of QC, we can determine the net direction of movement. What was Kc? Kc was this, 1 by 2. Qc is 2. So what should happen to the reaction?
Sir, it would be a backward.
It will be in the backward direction, because if Qc is more than Kc, backward reaction occurs. Whenever Qc is less than Kc, the net direction is forward. Whenever Qc is more than Kc, the net direction is in the backward. So when I know that the reaction is happening in the backward direction, I must take the reverse of this reaction and then proceed. When I know that the reaction is happening in the backward direction, I must reverse this reaction and proceed. So let's reverse it. So this is how I've reversed it. And now again, let's try to find out what will happen at new equilibrium, once equilibrium is established again. So 3 moles of chlorine have been added. So 4 moles of chlorine are present. So 4 moles of chlorine. The moles of PCl3 and the moles of PCl5 will not change, because you have not added PCl3 or PCl5. So still the number of moles of PCl3 will remain 1 and the number of moles of PCl5 will remain 2. We have just added moles of chlorine. That is why the number of moles of chlorine has increased from 1 to 4 because we had added 3 moles of chlorine. So 1 plus 3 becomes 4. And now at new equilibrium, let's try to find out what will happen. So at the new equilibrium, this is what will happen.
सर भी हम बोल सकते हैं ना कि केसी सेम रहेगा क्योंकि टेम्परेचर चेंज नहीं है.
Yes, Kc will remain the same. But जो Kc 1/2 था वो किसका Kc था?
सर अभी 2 हो जाएगा.
अभी 2 हो
हाँ,
जाएगा वो.
उल्टा
ये
हो रहा है.
इसका Kc था. तो अभी मैंने रिवर्स रिएक्शन कंसीडर किया है तो Kc रेसिप्रोकल हो जाएगा यानी 1/2 का रेसिप्रोकल इज 2. तो अभी मैं ये कह सकता हूँ अगर मैंने ये कह दिया अभी तो ऐसा हो जाएगा. ये वैल्यूज कहाँ से है? यहाँ से है. T इक्वल टू T है. On solving this ऐसा आएगा. We get a quadratic equation. Now we can solve the quadratic equation by using the formula. I'll just write the formula again. Minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. This is the formula to find out the roots of quadratic equation. So this is a, minus 11 is b, and plus 6 is c. On putting the values, I'll get this. Fine. Now, how do I find out root 73? Now, see, we know that 8 squared is 64 and 9 squared is 81. 8 squared is this. 9 squared is this. But we want 73, which is lying between 64 and 81. Since 73 is lying between 64 and 81, the square root of 73 will also be between 8 and 9. Let's randomly take some values now between 8 and 9 and then choose the nearest one. Let's take 8.5. Why am I taking 8.5? It's easy to find out the square of 85. How? 85 into 85. 5 into 5 25. देख लो ये शॉर्टकट जिनको नहीं मालूम है. 5 into 5 is 25. Look at this number which is 8. Increase this number by 1. So 8 का plus 1 कर दोगे तो क्या होगा? 9. And then multiply these two numbers, that is 9 and 8. 9 into 8 is 72. So 85 squared is 7225. If 85 squared is 7225, then 8.5 squared will be 72.25. काफी क्लोज आ गए हम लोग 73 के. तो 8.5 से थोड़ा सा ज्यादा होगा रूट ऑफ 73. तो 8.53 8.54 के आसपास ले लेंगे कुछ. तो मैंने 8.54 लिया है. रूट 73 has been taken as 8.54. तो पहले मैं 8.5 तक पहुंचा और फिर 8.5 को थोड़ा सा इंक्रीज कर दिया. क्यों इंक्रीज कर दिया? क्योंकि 8.5 का स्क्वायर तो 72.25 है. तो 72.25 से थोड़ा ज्यादा 73 होता है. तो थोड़ा सा स्क्वायर रूट को बढ़ा दिया 8.5 से. तो 8.54. कोई बोलेगा मुझे 8.53 लेना है. दैट्स ओके. यू कैन टेक इट एज 8.53 आल्सो. So we'll get two values of x. These are the two values of x. Now we have to check which value will suit our equation or which value will be feasible. Both the values cannot be feasible at the same time. So let's see now. Let's put this value 4.885. 4.885. अब प्रॉब्लम ये होगा कि देखो यहाँ पे t इक्वल टू t पे अगर x की वैल्यू 4.885 डाल दी तो क्या प्रॉब्लम होगा?
नेगेटिव
ये
हो जाएगा।
क्वांटिटी नेगेटिव आ जाएगा.
नेगेटिव
दो क्वांटिटी
और Cl2 का भी.
So 4 minus x will be 4 minus 4.88 something. This is a negative value. How can number of moles be negative? This means we cannot take x as 4.88. तो इतना क्लियर हो गया कि x की वैल्यू 4.88 नहीं हो सकती क्योंकि उससे प्रॉब्लम ये हो रहा है कि क्लोरीन नेगेटिव हो रहा है. फिर कोई भी मोल नेगेटिव नहीं कर सकते आप केमिस्ट्री में. तो इसको हम लोग डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे. So we will discard this value of x and we will take this next value of x which is 0.615. So x is equal to 0.615 is a feasible solution of the equation. And now we can go ahead with this value. Put x as 0.615. आपको क्वेश्चन में पूछा था find out the number of moles of PCl3 at equilibrium. Number of moles of PCl3 at equilibrium is given by 1 minus x as you can see corresponding to T equal to T EQ. Right? So 1 minus x moles of PCl3 are present at the new equilibrium. The new equilibrium is TEQ dash. That is after chlorine was added. तो x की वैल्यू डाल देंगे वो तो 1 minus x आ जाएगा PCl3 के moles. And I'll divide moles by liters. I'll get the concentration. So the value of new concentration is 0.385 moles per liter. 1 is the volume of the vessel, so 1 liter. Now, if I want to find out the square of this number, how will we find out? I told you it is easy to find out square of a number ending in 5. So if I want to find out the square of 65, so again 25 I'll write. What should I do after this?
6 plus 1, 7 into 6. 40.
Yeah, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 into 6 is... So this is the square of 65. Again 5 into 5 is 25. What should I do after this?
11 into
Yeah, 10. So 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 into 10 is 110. So 11025 is the square of 105. Okay, so remember this technique. Next question. Copy the question. Okay, so what is happening here? We started the reaction with 102 grams of NH4HS. So NH4HS is the reactant. The volume of the vessel is 2 liters. After some time, there were two equilibria established inside the same vessel. What is happening? First, this NH4HS is dissociating into NH3 and H2S. And then NH3 is dissociated to form N2 and H2. Both these reactions are happening in the same vessel. So I can say that after some time, both these will attain equilibrium. So both these reactions will be attaining equilibrium. And it is given that 1 mole of the solid has been consumed during this entire process. Which is a solid here? NH4HS is a solid here. 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed. 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed. This means that 1 mole will react. So that means finally, that is after both the equilibria are established, I will first see initially how many moles of NH4HS were there. From there, I'll subtract 1 because 1 mole of the solid has been consumed. So I'll subtract 1 from the initial moles, and the resultant value will be the moles of NH4HS present at equilibrium. So NH4HS is the starting material. Whenever you get such questions where two reactions are attaining equilibrium inside the same container, be careful. Because we have to read each and every statement and then go ahead. So let's start with the first reaction. So at T equal to 0, 102 grams of NH4HS were present. I cannot use grams, I have to use moles while I'm solving questions of equilibrium. I divide 102 by 51 and get 2 because 51 is the molar mass of NH4HS. So initially there were 2 moles of NH4HS. Now, I can say that 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed. 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed because the question has mentioned 1 mole of the solid has been consumed. Consumed means reacted. Since 1 mole has got consumed already, initially there were 2 moles. That means now at equilibrium I'm left with 1 mole of NH4HS. So this is the first step.
सर NH3 का भी 1 होगा ना?
Exactly, I'm coming to that. So till here, we have understood that 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed because the question has mentioned. If 1 mole of NH4HS has been consumed, I'll write 1 after minus sign because minus sign के बाद जो होता है that indicates amount consumed. तो 2 minus 1 लिखा है इसके लिए मैंने. Now, we know that whatever is getting consumed, तो यहाँ पे 1 मोल है जो, उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंगली हम लोग स्टोइकियोमेट्रिक कोएफिशिएंट्स को देख के प्रोडक्ट्स के मोल्स भी बनाते हैं, which means अगर 1 mole of NH4HS is getting consumed, then accordingly 1 mole of NH3 should be formed and 1 mole of H2S should also be formed, क्योंकि कोएफिशिएंट्स के रेशियो के हिसाब से होता है. यहाँ पे 1:1:1, तो जितना कंज्यूम होगा NH4HS उतने ही मोल्स बनने वाले हैं NH3 के और उतने ही मोल्स बनने वाले हैं H2S के. तो NH3 का भी 1 मोल बनेगा. ओके, यहाँ तक क्लियर है?
सर बट आपने वो सेकंड रिएक्शन का कंसीडर करके लिखा.
हाँ, तो अभी तक ये चल रहा है. मतलब अभी अगर ये रिएक्शन अकेला चल रहा होता तो ऐसा होता. अगर एक कंटेनर के अंदर सिर्फ NH4HS रिएक्ट करके ये NH3 और H2S बनाता तो हम लोग ये लिखते जो अभी लिखा है मैंने, अभी जो दिख रहा है स्क्रीन पे. But there is another thing happening after this, so we have to look at that. What is happening? Again, this NH3 which is formed is undergoing dissociation. जो NH3 बना था वही वापस अभी डिसोसिएट हो रहा है, मतलब उसके फिर से मोल्स चेंज होने वाले हैं. तो अगर मैं सेकंड रिएक्शन को देखूं तो पहले तो ये देखना है कि NH3 कितना बना था. NH3 1 मोल बना था रिएक्शन 1 में, बट इन द सेकंड रिएक्शन X moles of NH3 have undergone dissociation because the second reaction is also happening inside the same vessel. तो अगर मैं मान लूं कि X moles of ammonia disintegrate कर चुके हैं सिर्फ second reaction के लिए, तो I'll be left with 1 minus X moles of ammonia at the end of the second reaction, or I can say after the equilibrium is established. और अगर X moles NH3 के रिएक्ट करेंगे तो correspondingly X/2 moles नाइट्रोजन के बनेंगे और 3X/2 moles of hydrogen will be formed as per the stoichiometric coefficients. तो वो पार्ट सही है, लेकिन अगर कंटेनर सेम है तो फाइनली अमोनिया के मोल्स भी दोनों रिएक्शन के लिए सेम ही रहेगा. जो फाइनल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स I'll have, that is when both the reactions have attained equilibrium, right? Because both the reactions are attaining equilibrium within the same container. तो अगर मैं बोलूं कि फाइनली आई एम लेफ्ट विथ 1 minus X moles of ammonia, तो वो कॉमन रहेगा दोनों रिएक्शंस में, क्योंकि दोनों रिएक्शंस में ही अमोनिया प्रेजेंट है. तो अगर 1 minus X moles फाइनली प्रेजेंट है तो यहाँ पे भी मुझे 1 minus X moles से लिखने पड़ेंगे. तो क्या सीखा हम लोगों ने? जो ट्रिक है या जो पॉइंट टू बी टेकन अवे वो ये है कि जो कॉमन कंपोनेंट रहता है दो रिएक्शंस के बीच में, यानी यहाँ पे NH3 इज द कॉमन कंपोनेंट. सो जो कॉमन कंपोनेंट रहता है दो रिएक्शंस में, उसका हमेशा फाइनल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स कॉमन यानी सेम होता है दोनों रिएक्शंस में. सो NH3 के मोल्स 1 minus X होंगे एट इक्विलिब्रियम. लेकिन H2S का ऐसा मत करना, क्योंकि H2S वापस कुछ काम का नहीं है, वो वापस कुछ रिएक्शन नहीं कर रहा है, तो उसको तो अकॉर्डिंगली 1 मोल ही रहेगा, उसका चेंज नहीं होने वाला है. सो ये आपके दो साइमल्टेनियस इक्विलिब्रियम का एग्जांपल है. दो रिएक्शन साइमल्टेनियसली इक्विलिब्रियम अटेन कर रहे हैं. सो साइमल्टेनियस इक्विलिब्रिया. T इक्वल टू TQ का मतलब क्या है? काफी टाइम के बाद जब मैंने चेक किया कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, काफी टाइम मतलब जब दोनों रिएक्शंस ने इक्विलिब्रियम अचीव कर लिया हो, उसको बोलते हैं T इक्वल टू TQ. Any doubt? यही मेन पार्ट था, आगे तो नॉर्मल है। सो याद रखो ये चीज, जो कंपोनेंट कॉमन होता है दो रिएक्शंस के बीच में, उस कंपोनेंट का फाइनल नंबर ऑफ मोल्स भी सेम रहेगा दोनों रिएक्शंस में। फाइन। और एक पीस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन देके रखा है क्वेश्चन में, क्या बोला है? Also it is found that there are 0.75 moles of hydrogen. अब बोलते हैं अगर कोई it is found that there are this 0.75 moles of hydrogen, it is by default understood कि after equilibrium has been established, we have found out that the number of moles is 0.75. तो moles of hydrogen 0.75 है equilibrium में, यानी T equal to TeQ के बाद कितने हाइड्रोजन के मोल्स है हमारे पास? 3x/2. So I can say 3x/2 is equal to 0.75. यहाँ से x आ जाएगा। Then they have asked find out the equilibrium concentration of NH3. Equilibrium concentration of NH3 means moles of NH3 upon the volume of vessel. How many moles of NH3 are formed? I mean, are present now? 1 minus x moles of NH3 are present now. Since 1 minus x moles of NH3 are present now, I'll say 1 minus x is the value of moles of NH3. So 1 minus x upon 2 कर दूंगा, 2 क्योंकि volume of the vessel is 2 liters. It's given in the question. So the final answer will be 0.25 moles per liter. This is the new concentration or the final concentration of NH3 at equilibrium. The volume of the vessel is 2 liters. It's mentioned in the question. Next question. Copy करो question. Okay. So we have a reaction. The reaction is given to us X2 gas giving 2X gas. And also it is mentioned that in the beginning, only 1 mole of X2 is present. That means the reaction was started by taking the left hand side, that is by taking X2 alone, and there was no X present at all inside the container. So only X2 was present in the beginning of the reaction. 1 mole is the quantity taken at T equal to 0. So when T is equal to 0, the number of moles of X2 is 1. At equilibrium, we have to see what all things are happening. The total pressure is given as 2 bar. Now, whenever they say that total pressure is something, remember that it is the total pressure at equilibrium. The word equilibrium is not mentioned, but remember that whenever they tell you about total pressure in any question on equilibrium, it is by default the total pressure at equilibrium. So the total pressure at equilibrium is given as 2 bar. The number of moles of X is beta. We have to find out Kp in terms of beta. And then there is another part they are asking if beta can be equal to 0.7. Delta G naught is positive for the above reaction. That means for this reaction, delta G naught is positive. Okay, let's start with 1 mole. So at P equal to 0, I have 1 mole of X2 and 0 moles of X. At equilibrium, let's say X moles of X2 have dissociated. So 1 minus X moles of X2 are left at equilibrium, and 2X moles of X will be formed. Now in the question they've mentioned, the number of moles of X formed at equilibrium is beta. So we have to go ahead with this notation only because the question has given beta. Whatever is given in the question has to be used. So if the number of moles of X formed is beta, I can say 2X is equal to beta because the number of moles of X formed is nothing but 2X as per our calculations. And as for the question, the number of moles of capital X formed is beta. So I can say this 2X is equal to beta. Now, whenever they have given total pressure at equilibrium in bar, you can directly take that as ATM because we know approximately 1 bar is equal to 1 ATM. That's an approximation followed. Go ahead with that approximation. So 2 bar can be taken equal to 2 ATM. So if you want to write in terms of ATM, you can write ATM directly. If you want to write in terms of bar, you can write in terms of bar. If the options are given in ATM, then you will have to use ATM only. But again, I say a bar is almost same as ATM. So we need not convert bar to ATM. Directly, I can say that 2 bar is equal to 2 ATM. Okay. Question has asked us to find out Kp in terms of beta. Fine. Kp is nothing but in terms of partial pressures at equilibrium. At equilibrium, let us find out the values of partial pressures. I have moles of each component. So I can find out the value of partial pressure of each component by using Dalton's law of partial pressures. Partial pressure is equal to mole fraction multiplied by total pressure. So if I use that, I can say partial pressure of X2 is mole fraction of X2 into total pressure. Total pressure is 2 bar at equilibrium. Mole fraction is 1 minus x upon 1 plus x. How? See, moles of X2 is equal to 1 minus x, and moles, total number of moles is equal to 1 minus x plus 2x. 1 minus x plus 2x is equal to 1 plus x. So the total number of moles at equilibrium is 1 plus x. So the mole fraction is moles of the component divided by the total number of moles. So I can say mole fraction of X2 is equal to 1 minus x upon 1 plus x. So mole fraction multiplied by total pressure is equal to the partial pressure. So this is the value of partial pressure of X2. Similarly, I can find out the value of partial pressure of X. Again, partial pressure of X will be mole fraction of X into total pressure at equilibrium. Mole fraction of X is again moles of X upon total number of moles. Moles of X, I have 2x. So 2x upon 1 plus x is the value of mole fraction. 2x moles upon 1 minus x plus 2x. This is the mole fraction of X. So mole fraction of X is this, and this becomes equal to mole fraction multiplied by total pressure is the partial pressure. So this is the value of partial pressure of X. Now I'm using beta because I know that now X is equal to beta upon 2. So in place of writing X, I can write beta upon 2. So partial pressure of X2 is in terms of beta now with us, and also partial pressure of X is in terms of beta. Find out Kp now. Kp is this. That is partial pressure of X, that is product, to the power of 2 because 2 is the coefficient of the product, upon partial pressure of reactant to the power of 1 because 1 is the coefficient of reactant. So this is Kp. Put the values of Px and Px2 in terms of beta. So I can put the value of partial pressure of each component. and then I can solve this further. If I solve this further, I'll get this. So this is a final value of Kp in terms of beta. So here I have used a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. A plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. I have used this identity here. So I've obtained the value of Kp in terms of beta. Now, let's see the next part of the question. Can beta be equal to 0.7 moles? Justify. Yes or no, that means. Can beta be equal to 0.7 moles? Also, it is given that delta G naught for this reaction is positive. Let's go ahead now. If beta is 0.7, then let's see what Kp comes out to be. Put beta as 0.7 because they've asked us in the question, can beta be 0.7? Let's check if beta can be 0.7 or not. Put beta as 0.7. We'll get this. 8 into 0.7 square upon 4 minus 0.7 square. This will be greater than 1. If you solve this further, you will get this as greater than 1. So Kp is in terms of beta. Put beta as 0.7 because the question has asked us if beta can be 0.7 or not. So we want to check what happens to Kp if we put beta as 0.7. Okay, so this comes out to be 1.11. So Kp, or I can say that Kp is more than 1. If I put beta as 0.7, I'll get this as the value of Kp. Okay. Now, it is given that delta G naught is positive for this reaction. Look at this, it is given delta G naught is positive for this reaction. Now we have learned in thermodynamics, or rather in thermochemistry, we have learned this formula. Delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln K. If delta G naught is positive, then minus RT ln Kp will be positive, this entire thing. Because if delta G naught is positive, then minus RT ln Kp has to be positive. Because delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln Kp. Mathematically, if I solve this, because anything which is positive is greater than 0 in maths, this is what I'll obtain. So minus ln Kp is greater than 0. If minus ln Kp is greater than 0, I can say that ln Kp is less than 0. Because if I multiply both sides by minus 1, the inequality reverses as per inequation. Now ln Kp is 2.303 log Kp. That means log Kp is less than 0. If log Kp is less than 0, mathematically I can say Kp is less than 1. Log of any number which is less than 1 is negative. If you take log of any number which is greater than 1, the value will be positive. But here we are seeing that log Kp is less than 0. We have obtained that log Kp is less than 0. If this is true, then Kp has to be less than 1. Then only log Kp will be less than 0. So that means Kp has to be less than 1 for this particular reaction. Whereas if beta is 0.7, then we get Kp as 1.11, which is greater than 1. This tells us clearly that beta cannot be equal to 0.7. Okay, is it clear? So if beta is 0.7, you get Kp as 1.11, which is greater than 1. But already it is given in the question that delta G naught is positive, and using that, we get Kp as less than 1. So if Kp is less than 1, then we cannot have beta as 0.7, because if beta is 0.7, then Kp becomes greater than 1.
सर फिर तो हर रिएक्शन के लिए Kp less than 1 होना चाहिए.
नहीं, क्यों हर रिएक्शन के लिए क्यों होगा?
सर ये तो डेल्टा जी वाला तो एक
डेल्टा जी नॉट हर रिएक्शन के लिए पॉजिटिव थोड़ी रहेगा, नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है.
हाँ सर.
यहाँ पे बोला है डेल्टा जी नॉट इज पॉजिटिव. तो मतलब ये क्या है इसका मतलब? इसका मतलब है जो फॉरवर्ड रिएक्शन है उसके लिए डेल्टा जी नॉट दे के रखा है, तो बैकवर्ड रिएक्शन के लिए डेल्टा जी नॉट नेगेटिव हो जाएगा. राइट. x2 getting converted to 2x. अगर ये रिएक्शन कंप्लीट होता, कंप्लीटली कन्वर्जन अगर होता, तो हम लोग बोलेंगे कि डेल्टा जी नॉट पॉजिटिव है. तो अगर उल्टा होता, यानी 2x पूरी तरह से डिसोसिएट होके x2, आई मीन 2x पूरी तरह से ये करके कंबाइन करके x2 देते, तो डेल्टा जी नॉट वुड हैव बीन नेगेटिव फॉर दैट. Now remember this. If a reaction has gaseous species, or a mixture of gaseous and solid species, then delta G naught is given by this formula. That is delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln Kp. यानी गैस होना चाहिए, सारे के सारे गैसेस या फिर गैसेस और सॉलिड्स, तो हम लोग ये वाला फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे, डेल्टा जी नॉट इज इक्वल टू माइनस RT ln Kp. जैसे यहाँ पे था सबके सब गैसेस थे, देखो यहाँ पे जे दे के रखा है, सबके सब गैसेस है, यहाँ पे X2 भी गैस है, X भी गैस है. तो ऐसा कोई रिएक्शन जिसमें सब गैसेस हो या फिर सॉलिड्स एंड गैसेस दोनों प्रेजेंट हो, सॉलिड फेज और गैसियस फेज, तो हम लोग ये बोलते हैं डेल्टा जी नॉट इज इक्वल टू माइनस RT ln Kp. And if a reaction has aqueous species or a mixture of aqueous and solid species, then delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln Kc. So remember this, गैसेस है तो Kp यूज करना है डेल्टा जी नॉट के फॉर्मूला के लिए, और अगर एक्वस स्पीशीज है तो डेल्टा जी नॉट के फॉर्मूला में Kc यूज करना है. यानी ln के बाद जो आप लिखते हो K, वो K Kp होगा या Kc होगा, वो डिपेंड करेगा कि रिएक्शन में क्या है. तो रिएक्शन में अगर गैसेस प्रेजेंट है तो हम लोग Kp लेंगे डेल्टा जी नॉट के फॉर्मूला में, रिएक्शन में अगर एक्वस स्पीशीज प्रेजेंट है तो Kc लेंगे.
सर और अगर एक्वस और गैस दोनों रहेंगे तो केपी
हाँ,
लेंगे.
तो दोनों अगर रहेंगे तो Kp Kc उसको नहीं बोलते हम लोग सर, तो हम लोग उसको कोई डिस्टिंग्विश नहीं करते Kp और Kc में, तो हम लोग उसको ऐसा लेते हैं फिर, इट इज इन जनरल इक्विलिब्रियम कांस्टेंट, हम लोग ये लिखते हैं. फिर अगर मानो है दोनों ही, तो फिर हम लोग ऐसा लिखेंगे K इज इक्वल टू, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर ऐसा कुछ है, मानो ऐसा कुछ है, तो हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे अभी K, तो Kc या Kp मत लिखना अभी, तो बोलेंगे K इज इक्वल टू concentration of C to the power of 1, concentration of B to the power of 1 upon partial pressure of A to the power of 1 into concentration of B to the power of 1. फिर ऐसा हो जाएगा.
ओके सर.
तो ये ना ही ये Kp है ना ही ये Kc है.
तो फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड पॉइंट नोट करना है.
हाँ हाँ, नोट कर लो. हाँ नोट कर लो.
फिर एक मिनट